Hi, everybody. This is Joe from PrepAgent. If you could hear me, give me a big thumbs up and we'll get started. Okay, good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Sylvia. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so today we're doing something a little different. As you guys know, if you were at my webinar the other day, we talked about doing topics that pertain to getting a career off the ground, not just passing the real estate exam. So one of the big topics that come up is how to find a broker or what to look for when choosing a broker. I'm happy to talk about this. In the future, I want to talk about other things like how to market yourself and get some business and clients and maybe bring in other people to help with those topics. But a lot of you guys asked about choosing a broker, so I put together some notes that we could talk about today. Just so you guys know, all the things I'm talking about today, these notes are taken from an article that I wrote a long time ago, which is on the PrepAgent website. So you guys could always find it there. Just go under articles on the PrepAgent website and you can find all this information there. Just look for the rules of finding a broker. Everybody got that? Give me a thumbs up if you got it. So everything I'm talking about today is on the article that is on the PrepAgent website. Okay? So if you got that, give me a thumbs up. All right, good. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about here is making sure you interview with brokers. Okay, so how many of you guys have interviewed with a broker already? So I'm assuming the people on this chat have not passed their test yet. How many of you guys have passed your test? Any of you guys passed your test already? Or is everybody here not passed your test yet? Nice job, Sylvia. Congratulations. Is anybody else here passed? So all the rest of us are new and have not passed our test yet. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is start interviewing with brokers. And what I'm getting at is if you have not passed your test yet, you should still start interviewing brokers. Please don't wait to start everything till after you pass. I always tell people, don't forget, okay? The goal here is not passing the test. The goal is to have a successful real estate career. And there's so much you guys could be doing before you pass. Because after you pass, you may be thinking like, oh, I could have been doing this a long time ago. Why did I wait till I passed to do this? Maybe some of you guys have passed already thought of that. One of those things is you could start interviewing brokers now. And what you may find is you may like some of them, and some of them may even extend an offer of using their office to study because they want you to get comfortable with the office because after you pass, they want you to work there. So some of them may do things to build relationships with you before you pass as a way to kind of build that bridge. Kimberly says, how soon before you pass should you look? You guys start looking the moment you made the decision to pursue a career in real estate. A lot of you guys even started talking to brokers before you even started studying as a way to make a decision that this was a good course for you to go with for your new career. So immediately, immediately you should start talking to people. This should be done simultaneously as you're studying. You should start learning about the field, learning about who's who, learning about the demographics, learning about the areas. You could be seeing properties. You could be talking to brokers. There's so much you should be doing. So after you pass, you're right out of the gates. Don't be one of those guys who passes the test, or gals, and then takes months and months to get your career going. Okay? The goal is not to be the first one to pass. The goal is to be the first one to do a deal. Remember, that's the thing. So you may fail 4, 5, 6 times and may feel terrible, but those terrible feelings will go away real quick. Is after you pass, you're right out of the gates and you're selling real estate. Whereas that person who passed before is taking 6 months to actually get their first deal. Okay, nice job, Andy, on passing. Okay, so we're interviewing with brokers. So how many of you guys have already made a list of brokers to work with? So I want you guys to make a list of brokers that you want to interview. My question is, how are you finding those brokers? How are you finding those brokers? What is your strategy to find those brokers to interview with? So there's a number of things we could do here. Let me see that in the chat. Let's see what some of you guys have been doing. How are you finding those brokers? So some of you guys are interviewing with them. And my question is, how did you find them? Okay, so somebody did Google. Okay, family, friends. How many of you guys have gone to open houses in the area? Okay, so some of you guys should just go to open houses in the area. All right. And just talk to the people working those open houses. See what they think. Okay, sometimes you could just call those signs in front of the listings. People have their number to say, what brokerage do you work for? But it's funny, a lot of you guys have said the internet. And I want to make that point in a little bit. Many of you guys have said the internet, which talks about where we are at in modern society. And we're going to talk about how if a broker does not have a good internet presence or does not understand the basics of internet marketing, you got to question if you want to work with them. Because I think we all could agree, at least everybody here on this chat could agree, in the modern era, the internet's a vital part of having a successful business, whether it be real estate or many other types of businesses. Obviously, you guys think that because you're on YouTube with me right now, and you're using my product, which is an online product. So clearly, you guys are pretty internet savvy people. Okay. Any questions? What do you guys think so far? Yes? Doing all right? Okay, so next thing that comes up big is commission split. How many of you guys are worried about commission split? How many of you guys always think about, I want to get a good split. I want to get a good split. I want to get a good commission split. And they hear words like 90%, 99%, 50%, 60%. All these numbers get thrown around. So how many of you guys are worried about the commission split? Okay, here's what I will tell you, and I put it in bold on the board. 100% of split of nothing is nothing, okay? And what do I mean by that? You guys are getting started. The last thing you should be worried about is your split. You need to be worried about people that can get your career off the ground. And if they could do a good job doing that, if they could get your career off the ground and teach you about marketing and teach you about working with clients and teaching you how to do a good listing and providing you with good service and providing you good help and providing you with a positive environment, then pay them what they're worth. Don't hold back on people that are providing you good service, just like you don't want people holding back on you when you get a listing if you're providing them good service. That's just me, but I always believe you don't cheap it on people. If people are providing you a good service, you pay them what they're worth. That's how, people function well in society and business, especially in real estate. You don't cut corners on people that are doing good work for you. So when it comes to that commission split, don't run away if they're going to offer you a very low split. Ask them why. Ask them what's going to happen, what kind of help, what kind of service is going to be provided, all things they'll be doing for you. Because those people who will give you a 100% split or a 90% split, you got to ask them that same question. Nothing's free. What is it that I'm losing here by giving you all this money? Or excuse me, you giving me all this money. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, moving right along. Okay, so promise me you guys will not focus on the split in the beginning. Once you get some deals under your belt, then you have room to negotiate. But in the beginning, do not focus on the split. Okay, next thing is internet presence. I asked you guys how you found your broker. And a number of you guys said Google or different types of forms of marketing. Sometimes it's Facebook, sometimes it's Twitter, sometimes it's Instagram. It is an inevitable fact that if you don't have a good internet presence, then it's hard for you to do business as an independent contractor. Whether you guys are a real estate agent, a hairdresser, a personal trainer, or anybody who has to solicit business, okay? People are going to look as your brokerage as part of you. And if they have a website that looks like it's from 1990, all right, it's a bad reflection because they should understand. I'm not saying they have to be this super duper internet presence, you know, getting business from all these places via the internet, but they got to look competent. And that also applies for the Facebook page. The Facebook page should look clean. The Twitter account, if they have one, should look clean. It should look professional. It doesn't need to have 10,000 followers like these higher end marketing people will do, which you guys will be soon if you follow us. Okay, but they got to look professional because you guys got to understand that when you get a listing, they're going to look up the brokerage on the internet. Wouldn't you? I mean, how many of you guys would do that if you were the guy being solicited? Okay, if somebody came to you and said, I want to list your house, how many of you guys, and say yes, would immediately Google that person on the internet and Google their brokerage immediately? Okay, so I came to you and I said, Danny, I want to list your house. I mean, wouldn't you guys immediately just Google me? So therefore, when you Google me, if you see a Facebook page with a blurry picture, okay, or you see a website that doesn't upload correctly, I mean, honestly, wouldn't you guys immediately be turned off? No matter how good they were and how successful they were, it would immediately give you a lot of reservation. I mean, is that correct or not? If you saw like words are spelt wrong, right? Or all these things of that nature, it would turn you off. Okay, so that's something you gotta look at. The next thing about the internet presence, okay, many brokerages will provide you a page on their website that's just for you, okay? That's what you guys should look for. At the end of the day, you should have your own website. You should not be promoting the brokerage's website. You should be promoting your own website. But with that being said, until that happens, many of the brokerage's website will have a page just designated for you. Please look at the agent's individual pages on the brokerage website. If there is no such thing, then that's a problem, okay? At the end of the day, your goal is to promote you, not the brokerage. You're not there to promote the brokerage. You're there to promote yourself as the individual agent, okay? And your success as the agent will then be success for the brokerage, okay? But that's what it's all about. All right. How many of you guys want to learn how to have a stronger internet presence? Give me a thumbs up if that's something you want to do. And you guys want to learn about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, search engine optimization. So that's what I'm going to focus on a lot. I want to help you guys there because obviously it's how our business functions. So it's our expertise. So in future webinars, it's really something I want to get you guys going because as you guys just said, it's you Google everybody immediately. And you may not need to be a huge expert, but you want to look professional and you want to look like you know what you're doing. And there's certain basic rules to follow on pictures, profile pictures, you know, best practices that you should do. Like I said, I'm not saying we're going to learn how to be the next mega marketing guru, but at least look professional with everything. Okay. For example, how many people get turned off if they see a real estate agent's Instagram and everything looks great, and all of a sudden you see him with 3 beers in his hand at a party, you know, half naked? I mean, immediately you'll go, And that's an extreme example, but there's certain best practices that we will talk about, you know, to avoid things of that nature. I mean, how many of you guys see inappropriate pictures on real estate agents' Instagram, Facebook, where you're just like, what are they thinking? Well, what's going on here? And we'll talk about how to separate personal and professional pages. Keep the personal stuff personal and professional stuff professional. Okay, next coming up is fees. New agents forget to ask about this all the time. Yes, Isis said, so keep your personal page separate from the business page. Absolutely, and we'll talk about that later. It's very easy to do, but we're going to teach you how to keep your personal page extremely private, okay? You do not want your clients and the public getting into your personal page. You want your personal page to be shared with friends and family, and that's it. And you have a whole nother page for things you want the public to know about you. How many of you guys really want to know how to keep your personal page super private as you start to enter a business where you're going to be putting your name out there to the world and trying to get as much attraction to your name as possible so you could gain business. So I'm guessing a lot of you guys will want to learn, being you're putting your name out there, how to keep your information private on social media. Okay, next thing is fees. Okay, a lot of agents forget to ask about this. They talk about the commission split. Fees could add up. I very often have people come to me with PrepAgent say, I can't afford the website. I can't afford the $40, $60, $90, whatever package they're looking for. Do you have discounts? And I try and help people whenever I can. But in the back of my head, I think to myself, as much as I help you now, who's going to help you after you pass? Because there's going to be a lot of fees. I mean, the exam prep is just the beginning. And you got to be very clear to the broker and say, I need to know what the fees are involved with working with you. And they will tell you there's certain fees they have control over and certain fees they don't. And then you should ask every brokerage that. Now, when you ask them, you're going to find some basic things that are across the board true for all the brokerages. Okay, so not only are you, when you ask them, are you going to be finding out about how much you're going to be spending, but you may also find out how honest they are or how knowledgeable they are. Because when you guys ask people how much you're paying, very often in business, that's when you find out somebody's true colors. If they sit there and say to you, this is what it costs, this is what it is, I know it stinks, but we got to deal with it. You may say, well, I don't like hearing it, but at least they're honest. I trust them and they're going to work with me. Where if somebody tells you there's no fees, sounds great, but you become hesitant. So be sure you make a list of fees. I wrote some fees here on the board that you guys could take note of and write down. And once again, remember, this is on the PrepAgent site. Desk fees, printers, copies, transaction fees, insurance. Those are just some of them. And every brokerage should have a clean list of that. Okay, how am I doing so far? Everybody got it? So interact with me as much as possible, guys. Otherwise, it feels like I'm talking into a screen. And that could be weird for me. Okay, so everybody write, I promise to ask about fees. I promise to ask about fees. Okay, my next question, because I want some interaction from you guys. Do you think it's better to work for a large brokerage or a small brokerage? A large brokerage or a small brokerage? So do you think it's better to work for one of these big name national brands or the mom and pops brokerage down the street? What do you guys think? I love what Hassan Simmons said. It depends. That's always the answer I look for if you guys know me. It always depends. There's different factors involved. Okay, which brings me to my next slide, right? As you guys can imagine. Brokerage size. Now, I wrote a lot here. Now, I will say this to you guys. Doesn't matter if the broker is big or small. Your primary goal is to judge the people you're working with, not the name on the door or the size of the office. Everybody understand that? That is hugely important. Your primary goal is to judge the people you're working with, not the size of the office or the name on the door. Does everybody got that? That is the biggest and most important thing I could tell you today. And if anything I can tell you today, that's the big one. Because even if you work for a big brokerage, has a big name and the best training in the world and best commission split and best fees, at the end of the day, there's a guy or lady behind a desk that you're going to have to talk to every day. And if you don't like them, I don't care what their fee structure is, their commission split is, all the rest of it, that company brand means nothing. You got to get to know the person there. Because you got to remember, this isn't like your typical big corporation setup. These big companies are essentially a group of little ones. They're franchised out for the most part. So I don't care if you work with Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker or Remax or one of those. At the end of the day, you're going to a small office with the same group of people. And that's what it is, okay? So it's not like you're meeting with Coldwell Banker front office in their national center. Now, that being said, some of the benefits of the big brokerage is that name. People are familiar with that name. Okay. Even though you and I know each agent is their own individual and conduct business different ways, but to the public, that name means something. Very often they have structured training. Okay. And very often they have leads coming in from the internet. Okay. Now, with that being said, that training may just be a cookie cutter thing where they make you pay for that training and you're in and out and they don't even know your name when you leave. And the internet leads may be, just these useless leads and you don't know how they're going to distribute them. Okay. So that's why it's so important to know the people and know who you're talking to. But a lot of time there's a structure and there's a name there that you can rely on. With a small brokerage, they may not have training, or many small brokerages may get together and form their own training. Like a lot of small brokerages may say, hey, individually, we don't have training, but we know the other brokerages in the office. Maybe we'll all send them to this one guy to help do the training. Okay, so you don't know. Also, the small brokerage may not get as many leads from the public, so not a big name. But very often when they do get those leads, they're more quality because they got those leads because they have a good name in the community and people know who they are as an individual. And therefore, when they forward those leads onto you, that could be a much more quality lead. Whereas the big brokerages will get a lot of leads, but you don't know how they're going to distribute them, and you don't know if they're going to be quality or just garbage leads coming from the internet. Also remember that small brokerage, they're going to have a lot more interest in your success. It may be harder to go work with them, but they can't take the risk of having every single person come in and work for them. Okay, so they're going to take a lot more interest in your success. Typically, obviously, there's exceptions to this rule. Okay, but they're very often the head of the company will give you a lot more hand-holding and see what you're doing. Where that big brokerage, they often go by the design of get as many people in the office as they can, and whatever sticks, great. Whatever doesn't, fine. Okay, but you may find yourself just being a number, working under a big system. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Everybody with me so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Okay. So my next question for you guys is, do you consider yourself a creative individual, or do you consider yourself somebody who's more gets a plan, follows it, and executes? And they both have their positive features to it. My question is, do you consider yourself somebody who's more of an out-of-the-box thinker, or somebody who says, just give me the plan, give me the path, and I'm going to hit it harder than anybody else and have my success? And there's two different ways of thinking there. So which one do you think you guys are? A little both. Okay, my point is, if you're an out-of-the-box thinker, that small brokerage is going to be willing to work with you a little bit more. The big brokerage is going to say a lot more of my way or the highway. Does that make sense? The big brokerage may have a more structured plan for you, a much better plan that'll work for you, but you cannot veer off that plan. All right? Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. The big brokerage will give you a very structured format and set of rules to follow. And that may be a great set of rules and a great structure and a great plan, but don't go and tell them, I want to sell industrial property or I want to try this marketing technique. They're going to say, follow our lead, and that's it. Where that small brokerage very often is very open to new ideas. That's why they're a small brokerage. Usually a small brokerage started because somebody wanted to do their own thing. Somebody had an idea that was creative, that was good, and they wanted to be on their own and execute that idea. Okay, so that's something for you guys to think about. How many of you guys thought of that before? When we thought about big brokerage or small brokerage, is your ability to be creative. And I said, it all depends what you need. If you need more of that solid structure, that cookie cutter plan, big brokerage. If you want to be an out of the box thinker, kind of find your own path, smaller brokerage. People who want to bounce ideas off you. Okay, facilities. This depends on you. Some of you guys want to work out of home. Some of you guys want to go to an office. If you want to go to an office, Keep in mind, you'll be paying for it. That's part of those fees we spoke about. But if you want to go to an office, you want to make sure it's somewhere you're proud to go and take clients to. And frankly, just somewhere that you feel comfortable sitting down and working every day. Okay, you want to make sure it has a positive environment, preferably people you could talk to there, exchange ideas, or simply just say, how's your day? I mean, part of the thing about being an independent contractor, which you are as a real estate agent, it could get very lonely. I mean, don't you guys agree? Independent contractors get lonely. Working at a nice facility will help prevent that. You go there and you do your work, you work hard, but then when you get a break, you have somebody to exchange ideas with and talk to. And it's also a good opportunity to network with others. But if that sounds important to you, you better hope it has good parking space, air conditioning, all those basic things that you want. If it doesn't, working out of your home may be better for you. Once again, you guys are becoming a real estate agent because you want to do things the way that is best for you as an individual. And if it's best for you as an individual, just to work out of your home, then so be it. Then the facilities don't matter. Okay, moving right along. Location kind of follows up on that facility thing, so I won't spend too much time on this. It's like, do you want to get in your car, go to an office? Do you want to work from home? People often don't think about this, but it's something for you guys to think about. It's not so much about your clients, because your clients will meet you anywhere. Your clients will meet you at Starbucks if you want. I love Starbucks. Who else loves Starbucks? You guys love Starbucks? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so your clients will meet you wherever. Frankly, the clients will probably like the most meeting you at their house. So the location's more about you. How often do you want to go there? And how long will it take you to go there? Soy latte with ice. Great. Try it, everybody. I know it's not the most manly drink for the manly men here, but still delicious. Okay, moving right along. Okay, I got a question here. Do you have to put your license in an office somewhere, or can you keep it in your own place? Should you choose to go solo? I heard you had to put it in an office. Your license has to be hung in an office, okay? So an office has to have your license. There has to be a responsible party for you. Okay, now it doesn't mean you need to go there, but an office does need to be responsible for you until you get the appropriate license where you can be fully independent. Okay, training. Okay, training's a big one. And make sure it's not just these rah-rah motivational speeches. If you guys notice at PrepAgent, I have a very particular style. And it doesn't work for everybody, but I believe it works for you guys because you guys are here. So you may want to look for people who are similar to me. I'm not being egotistical or narcissistic about this. I'm just saying you guys are here, we're together. So obviously what we're doing works for each other. Having you guys here works for me. Having me here for you works for you. And if you guys notice, there's a certain style that I have. And that style is, I don't get into the rah-rah. I don't get into, you're the best, you could do it, da-da-da-da-da. I do it a little bit here and there. But for me, it's more about facts. What do you need to know? I mean, this is how I helped a lot of you guys pass the exam. And the same should be said for when you're practicing real estate, if that style works for you. Okay? It should be, how do I write this contract? Where do I go to do the open house? Where do I get the keys? How do I log on to the website? Very black and white stuff. Are you guys like me, where sometimes you're like, just give me the facts? I can do the rah-rah at home when I listen to my YouTube channel and listen to The Rock give a speech. Okay? That's how I always felt. I always felt, save the rah-rah for the football team. I need to know some facts. Okay? So when we talk about that training, be careful of these motivational speeches. Some of them just drive me nuts. You will hear people say, we're a family, we're a family, we're a family, we're a family. Yeah, they're a family until you guys, want to get the same listing and have the same clients and they're competing against each other. Then that family thing goes out the window pretty quick. Okay, but they love to say family, family environment, family environment. Don't fall for that stuff. Everybody here wants to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, stay focused on the facts when you deal with this training. Am I being a Debbie Downer with that, or are you guys with me? How many of you guys get annoyed when you just want to learn, you want to do your thing, and people are telling you, you're the best, we're a family, we could do it, anything you put your mind to, blah, 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 blah. Am I alone with that? Maybe not. Okay. All right. So mentor program. This one is huge. We talked about the small brokerages. Okay. The small brokerages, all right, very often will have the mentor be the person who runs the office. Okay. The big brokerages, very often the person running the office won't help you, but they'll have a mentor. Either way, whatever you want to call it, the mentor, the broker, the operating manager, the guru of real estate, whatever they want to call it, you want somebody by your side to help in the beginning. And this is such a matter of the heart. It's not a matter of numbers or facts. You got to meet this person. I will tell you guys, one of my favorite people in the world was my mentor when I started in real estate. And I will tell you guys, she was nothing like me. I came from suburban New York at the time when I was younger, when I started this. Didn't really know many people outside of my area. She was from the deep south of Mississippi. As you guys know, especially in these days with politics, you couldn't get more different. She looked different than me, different attitude, different political views, different skin color, everything. But to this day, she's one of the most important people in my life. She not only became my mentor for real estate, she became my mentor for life, of everything I do. And I love her to death, and you could hear it in my voice. She means the world to me. And she was my mentor who walked me through everything. And if I looked at her and I judged her, right, just off the numbers, of the percentages, of what she looked like, but it was a matter of the heart. We spoke, we hung out, and we connected. And I could tell she cared about me, and I cared about her, and we had this great relationship. And she was about, I don't know, 40 years older than me. So she's from an older lady, from a different area, different culture. You guys heard in my voice, I'm almost tearing up talking about her. But she was from a different era, different culture, different part of the country, different everything. But as a matter of the heart, I went with her, and she's part of the reason I'm here talking to you now. And my moral of the story with this is, it's about nothing more than when you look that person in the eye, is this somebody who you think will care about you and you'll care about them? And you ignore everything else. Skin color, religion, ethnic background, demographics, political views, put all that aside. If you guys could do that, you'll be successful. I'll give you guys her name. You can look her up. Her name was Maple Patton from Mississippi. And she was the best person ever, 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 ever. Okay, moving right along. All right. I know I'm getting all teary now. Oh, so emotional. Okay. Management support. All right. Does the broker's leadership have enough to help new agents? Okay. Thank God we're on the internet, right, guys? It doesn't look cool to be a bald, like, big dude and be all teary. It doesn't look very manly. So I'm hiding behind the screen. Okay. Management support. This has to do with that office. This is a big deal if you guys get people threatening to sue you, or people who are coming after you, or clients who are saying you are bad. Will they have your back when it's deserved? Okay. I'm not saying, I don't like it when management supports bad agents, but we're all going to be good agents. And you want to know when the bad agents come after you, especially when you're new, there's going to be a lot of very experienced agents who are like vultures who will come after you. Okay. There'll be clients who will come after you. Is the management got your back? All right. Will they help you? What will be the support there? Can you come to them? Can you come to the questions and concerns and all those things? And can they set realistic expectations for you? But this is your support group. So you got to make sure they're there. And you may find this out the most by asking other agents in the office who works there. Okay. This is that scary part. Who here is a little nervous about entering an independent contractor in a business where lawsuits fly like toilet paper? Anybody a little nervous about that? Okay, so that's where that management support comes in. Okay, see what they got going there. The other thing about management support is some of these places will have what's called a transaction person. They'll help you with paperwork, help you with the files, help you with a lot of that stuff. They'll have a front desk person. Okay, so you want to see that too. A transaction coordinator, a lot of them call it. Okay, that'll help you do everything where all you have to do is go get the business. So just ask them about that. But remember, this stuff isn't free. If they're giving you a 99% split, don't expect a lot of support. And I think we all agree we love support. Administrative support, what I was just talking about there, that's what those paperwork and taking those calls and organizing things for you, that's what that's all about. Uploading new listings into MLS, things of that nature. Many offices, whether it's small or big, will have one person that's there to help all the agents with a lot of the small paperwork. And you want to see if she's a nice person or he's a nice person. Culture. Okay, for some people, it's a let me do my thing and get out of the way. For others, real estate is already a lonely business, so they want to feel like they're part of a community and can make friends, share ideas, and be part of a bigger picture. It all depends what works for you. There's nothing wrong with either one. Some people are just, I want to do my thing. Don't bother me. I have a mission here. I want to get it done. Some people want to get things done, but it doesn't mean they feel like living like a nomadic, isolated lifestyle. Some people feel like it's already independent enough. Therefore, I want that Christmas party or that Hanukkah party or whatever it is you celebrate. Okay, they want to feel like they have a group they could meet with once a week. A lot of brokerages have weekly meetings where everybody gets together and they bring a breakfast and they share. And that's a good idea to exchange ideas and talk to people. But you got to feel out the culture. Much like any sports team, theater group, community group, an ugly culture is not fun to be around. So you want to check out the vibe. And you can very simply go around just asking agents, how do you like it here? Why do you like it? Okay. And you'll get a vibe. How many of you guys could read between the lines when they're just giving you the company answer or when they really, really like it? How many of you are pretty good at reading that? When they're giving you just the customer service answer or if they're giving you a sincere answer. So you want to ask people that, and you can just look around. I mean, keep in mind, these are going to be your friends. If all goes well, these will be people you'll be happy if they succeed, and hopefully they'll be happy for you too. Ooh, social worker. You definitely got to be good at reading people for that. I have a lot of respect for you for doing that job as a social worker. Not easy, and we need more people to do that type of work. It's a very honorable and very selfless work to be doing. So thank you for that contribution. Okay. Specialties. All right. Remember we spoke about the small brokerages maybe more available for your flexibility? Okay. So these small brokerages will be open to things like you doing commercial leasing, property management, other types of things with your license. These big brokerages, they'll say sell residential real estate in town or get out. Okay. And that may not be a bad thing. They want to have a focus. But when we talk about specialties, I want you to remember that scenario about how independent or flexible do you want to be in your career. Okay, Michelle wrote, what are your thoughts on competition with your broker? I hate it. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but competing with your broker is very dangerous because they're going to have the upper hand because they're supposed to help you. There's a little bit of conflict of interest with that because really the brokerage should be there to make sure all the agents under them have success. And if that broker themselves is also trying to get business, at the end of the day, who are they going to want to have that listing, you or them? Now, they may try and throw you a bone and get you some listings, but at the end of the day, if their kids need a new car or something like that, or their house is getting under foreclosure, they're going to look out for themselves first. Whereas a broker where their sole business model is to make sure the people under them are successful, that if they need to save their house or get the kids a new car, that means making you more successful, not them getting a listing. Okay. So if you see that a lot where you live, maybe it's the local culture, find out more, talk to everybody, see what you can find. But as a general rule, I wouldn't really love the idea of competing with somebody who's also supposed to be looking out for my best interest. There just seems to be inherent conflict there. But, individual situations. Broker's reputation, obviously, just ask around. I don't think we need to talk a lot about this one. You could find reviews on the internet, going back to that internet presence thing. You find reviews on Facebook, on Yelp, different areas, and you can see how they respond to those reviews. And you have to be fair. There's always going to be people who leave bad reviews, and it's not always just. So you got to see how they respond to them and look between the lines. Like, what is it they're complaining about? Are their complaints realistic? Are they consistent? Or are they just people teeing off because they didn't get the price in their house that they thought they deserve? Okay, so look at the broker's reputation on the internet. I think you'll find a lot of good things. And obviously ask people in the community. Referral leads, we spoke about this one before. A lot of brokerages will have something called floor time. Anybody ever heard of floor time, also known as the up desk? You guys ever heard of that? So floor time is when you sit at the front of the office and people will come in, they hand them to you. So you sit there and everybody walks in, they go to the agent who is sitting there at the desk at that time. So if calls come in, they say, oh, I'm looking for an agent. They give it to the person on floor time. You also want to see if bigger agents will let you do open houses for them, all right, and how they distribute all these leads. But at the end of the day, you cannot rely on the brokerage for referrals and leads. That's not a way to build a business. It's a way to get a few good things, but it's not a good way to build your business in the long term. And last but not least, a lot of you guys ask about joining a team. Okay, so new agents want to join a team. But sometimes you got to realize these teams don't always want new agents. These teams want to bring on agents who have experience, who could bring something to the table. But if you could find one, it could be great. Okay, you'll sacrifice a lot of commission. And essentially, if you join a team, you're just working for somebody. You're working under somebody else's umbrella, which may be contrary to the whole reason you entered this whole thing. But you may be making money sooner and learning. It depends on said team. Okay. Kimberly Rollins said, how much do you make doing open houses for other agents? You make nothing. What you get from doing open houses for other agents is the opportunity to generate leads for yourself. Maybe an agent will pay you, but I don't know why they would, because there's a million of agents who do it for free. What I used to do is I used to sit at open houses every weekend as much as I could. And I would bring my computer and I would use it as a sort of office. I would do a great job. I would look as great as I could, put on my tie, my nice shirt, and I'd use my computer, get some stuff done. But when people walked in, I did my best to sell the house, and hopefully I could represent them as the buyer. And then the person I'm holding the listing for will represent them as the seller. But it's an opportunity to generate leads. It's not an opportunity to get a quick paycheck. Okay? All right. So that's all I got for today, guys. I hope this was helpful. Was this helpful for you guys? I give you 15 things to think about, and all this is on our website. But I hope you thought this was helpful for you guys. If so, give me a thumbs up. And if you thought it was helpful, I will do more like these if you want. Just think of different subjects and send me a message. Keep in mind, Arthur and I's expertise is how to get you guys going with your online presence. That's really where we can really kick your career into high gear. Like I said, I want to be honest. I can't help you with everything. What I can help you with, I sure will. But Arthur and I will always be honest with you guys of where we could help you and what's kind of out of our range. But with getting you an online presence, I promise you guys we can make you better than everybody else. I mean, just think, this is how you found us. It's online, right? You guys didn't meet me in person. I mean, maybe one day you will. You'll invite me to Starbucks when I'm in your town. I'll wear that nice shirt I told you about. Okay, thanks, guys. Joe from PrepAgent. and I'll talk to you guys soon. Send me a message to the Facebook page if you have any questions, and that's that. I'm doing another webinar on the real estate exam stuff tomorrow. All right, tomorrow's Monday, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your Sunday.